Here we
And
go. Elliot, how are you? Good to meet you.
thank you very much. It's a pleasure to meet you.
I've been enjoying your live streams on Insight Timer as well, and you used to work for Stress Fit Meditation. I came across Stress Fit probably in 2018. Some of your work as well was impressive. Tell me about your journey.
My journey of meditation
Mm,
really started when I was an adolescent and had a had a very difficult teenage years that was really hard for me to adjust to. So much was changing around me and inside of me, and I was waking up to a lot of different things
mm,
going on in the world and in my life, and it led me down a pretty dark and twisted path there for a while. But one of the things that I really got out of that whole period um, was the idea of being able to observe your own
mm,
mind, and that concept, that experience had never really been taught to me or ingrained in me.
mm,
Um, Leading up to then. So at this time, I started to really pay attention to some different things that were going on with myself, and that ability to observe
mm,
the mind and observe what you are when you're not constantly putting in input.
mm, mm.
It was a big game changer for me, and I started to take that and work with it in different ways. But that was sort of my introduction during my teenage years, getting into meditation. And then much later, um, it did become something that was really fulfilling beyond self,
Mm,
until I started to be able to work with Oscar Phoenix of Stress Fit. And we
mhm,
started Stress Fit um, with this vision to, yeah, have all of these really well produced recordings for guided meditation
mhm,
and mindfulness practices, as well as binaural beats and isochronic tones, and things that were combining the science with the mystical. And we started hitting it off pretty fast and started making a lot of different recordings. So that's when I realized this whole meditation thing, it's part of a bigger web of intelligence, and maybe there's a opportunity for me to expand that beyond myself. So making recordings for other people has been a really wonderful experience.
Yeah, that's so cool. The live streaming as well. I like your background as well. It's pretty nice.
Oh, thanks.
I'm trying to
Thanks.
do that with Zoom as well. Yeah, so yeah, I love music too. On my YouTube channel, Shaw's Productions, it's a music channel as well. Did you do any acting by any chance, or an extra in a film? Were you?
Yeah, I think you could find a few things out there on the web from my earlier days of dabbling in acting, and I've done a few music videos myself. I've directed some videos and played different parts on different films. But yeah, I love the art of embodying another um, character, and seeing what sort of truth comes out within yourself when channeling that energy, that character, those personalities and stuff.
Mm,
So yeah, it's something I'm interested in. I love now the way that's manifested in my own online presence, on Instagram, creating these skits, these spiritual, humorous, insightful skits that I've got going, and that's a way for me to still enjoy acting, even though I don't really have the time to be acting in films right now because I'm so busy with other things. So it's a nice compromise.
yeah, there's a topic being covered on Insight Timer. I think it's about I think it was about Buddhism or something like that. Pretty interesting to delve into it as well. There's a lot of great books out there on this subject as well. And Insight Time has been a fantastic platform to share a community. with people. I think, Elliot.
Yeah, what an amazing community it is. So international, all different walks of life, people coming from all over the place for some nourishment of the kind that we weren't taught in schools, the kind that, usually wasn't given to us in the home, and certainly isn't really given to us too much with our culture. So it's like it's a wonderful haven for so many people, and it's an honor to be a part of that.
Mm. Yeah, it is, and it definitely is a great community as well to be a part of. Insight Timer, and that's what I like about it, Elliot. It yeah, there's people out there to help you on the app as well. I was listening to a podcast with the CEO Christopher Ploman about it, and he was saying that there's more community focused on Insight Timer rather than just being a business as well.
Mm. Yeah, they made that very clear, which I really appreciated when they started moving towards the different business model of actually financially supporting the teachers. They sent out an email, and it was a link to an article where Mr. Plowman was really describing in I could feel the compassion coming from his words and the sincerity that he was talking from, because he really didn't want to make it about money, but in doing so, creatively, they were able to put together a model that still allows for so much free material, so many resources that are free, while also finding ways for teachers to be able to, yeah, make a living and support themselves and support their dreams and their visions. So it's been a really, refreshing experience to see this completely 100% free app just grow so much, and then for them to go, wait a minute, maybe there's a way to do this differently. Like, maybe we don't have to bombard our audiences with ads and all these notifications and things to say, hey, go here and buy this, or, oh, hey, here's this,
Mm,
and it's like really refreshing, to see a young app, still relatively a young app, and move into a business model that creates sustainability, not only for itself but for all of the wonderful contributors of the app. And it's amazing what they've accomplished so far, and it just keeps growing. And it's a huge honor for me to be a part of that platform over the years, and to see so many individuals growing and expanding into new territory through the resources available on this app. And I think it's also worth mentioning, when we start to go into the spiritual practice, and if we do have the ability, because we're also working within that physical world of exchange and money and everything, that we're able to really question,
mm,
what does it mean for me to be able to give back to this process, to this community, to this platform? Because when we do choose to share stuff that is of value to us with the things that are bringing nourishment and light into our world, it does something special. It puts certain priorities into place and restructures things for ourselves. And we realize that when we are able to give back, when we're able to help sustain the very things that help sustain us and bring us hope in the world and light, then something really magical happens with us. And it's a beautiful thing that we're given that opportunity, as patrons of Insight Timer. We're able to choose, oh, do I feel like donating here? Could I just give them a star or a rating or whatever? There's a lot of different ways to be able to support
mm.
what's happening on that app and all of the wonderful, you know, valuable stuff that's on there. But,
I
I think
always
they've done a really good job of that.
Yeah, I always try to give a donation or definitely give 5-star rating as well. Definitely.
Only if they deserve it, right? Only if
Mm.
they deserve those 5 stars.
But I
But it's
gotta,
great, because you can rate it how you feel, and you can give feedback. And
I
I know as
gotta,
an instructor, it's been really nice to receive all the feedback over the years because it helps inform me and what I'm doing. Some people were, able to leave feedback on a track and saying, "Oh, there's like this thing that doesn't really quite sit right with me." And I take those sort of things into consideration and into heart because I know what works for me, but then again, I'm not really making this stuff for me. I'm making it with other people in mind.
mm.
So, it's good to receive that feedback and to know if it's not a 5 star, hey, well, let me know how you feel about it.
Yeah, I've got a law of attraction circle that I created as well. So we get people to share any law of attraction meditations on Insight Timer. Right now, I'm doing the Dr. Joe Dispenza Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself.
Mm, mm-hmm.
It's 4 weeks. So this week, third week, so I'll finish at the third bell. So I do that before bed, Elliot. So I set myself a challenge as well. Things are starting to feel better for me. Doing these little challenges. 21 day, I did a 21-day gratitude challenge from Jason Stevenson. Now I'm doing a 21-day affirmation challenge. So in the morning, I'll write 3 to 10 things like I am happy, I am healthy affirmations. And during the night, I've been playing like these money affirmations as well on a soft volume so the subconscious mind can pick it up. Because there's one thing, I was watching Oscar's live stream yesterday and I asked, how can I attract more money in my life, Elliot? Because sometimes there's a meditation course and then sometimes we don't have the money and we think, oh, I want it but I can't have it now. What tips do you have about that?
About attracting monetary wealth into your life.
Mm,
Well, there's two ways to do it. There's one way to do it where it is about the process and creating a sustainable um, process. And then there's another way where it's it's about just getting the money and reaching that goal. And there's a lot of different ways that you can get money. There's a lot of different ways that you can attract money. There's a lot of different ways that you can accrue money and and use it.
mm,
Um, Usually when people come to me and they want to know about how to make more money or gain more material wealth, um, it's always good to take a broad look at things and understand that we want money for a certain reason. We want a certain amount of money for a certain quality of life. And that's okay. That's perfectly normal. That's part of the
mm,
way the world works. And having money allows us to improve our life, our quality of life. But it's connected with everything else. It's connected with the way we eat. It's connected with how we're sleeping.
mm,
It's connected with how we think of things. It's connected with how we feel towards things. So it's a really large web that it connects with in our lives. What does money really mean for us? So if you want to attract more money, you have to look at everything and you have to ask yourself, what do I really want to be doing with my life? Because if you just focus on money, your life is going to just go in one direction. You're going to be closing many doors, many doors along your path to getting that money
mm,
that could have allowed you to have, for instance, a better quality of life, um, you know, a really loving partner, children, a a stable career that you actually enjoy. Not to say that these things can't come in the process of, you know, trying to get more money, but if your goal is just to make more money, your focus has been narrowed. So it's about how to open up your entire life in the process of getting more money.
mm,
Because when we start to think, how do we want to make that money? How are we going to feel about doing these things 5 years from now, 10 years from now? What kind of path basically is it that you want to take with attracting and achieving those goals? So again, it's more about you know, creating a vision for yourself, for your life, for your path towards accruing this money, attracting this money. Because if it's just about the money and we don't connect it with all these other things happening in our lives, we can easily fall into a trap that is, ah, yes, more money. And then once I got more money, then it's more money. And after that, more money, it's more money. It's never going to be enough.
mm.
So we have to connect it with a greater vision for our lives. And that's the way that we can find ourselves in true harmony with money. You know, the most miserable, uh, you know, nasty people in the world are some of the most powerful people with all of the money.
Mm,
You know, they're not any happier than someone who's living in a rural village, you know, milking their cows every morning, making cheese and doing their own gardening, and, you know, tending to their family each day. You know, like the idea of happiness is so caught up with things outside of ourselves usually, that we forget how to tend to the parts of ourselves that are yearning for a greater experience of life, such as our mental state, such as our physical health, such as our emotional body, such as our spiritual development. These things can fall by the wayside when we're just so focused, singularly focused on something such as money, which is something outside of ourselves that we want to get. So it's not a bad thing that we want to attract something like money into our lives, of course, because we can do amazing things with money. But how we go about attracting or, you know, bringing that into our lives is the most important thing.
yeah, look, there's things like you get some of these law of attraction gurus out there, Elliot. They're charging $1,000 for a course, and yet it pisses me off because I can get my information on Insight Timer, and my teachers are better on Insight Timer than say Bob
Mm.
Proctor or Tony Robbins. I don't know why they want to bastardize the law of attraction. Like The Secret, Rhonda Byrne wrote The Secret, but she didn't explain it properly.
There's a lot of different ways to unpack
Mm,
the law of attraction. For me, it's not real. It's like a sort of uh, cheat code,
mm-hmm,
which doesn't actually work for everyone. It works for some people who already have a certain, you know, set of skills and resources available to them.
mm-hmm,
But for people who are, you know, maybe just starting that sort of journey and just starting to think about this sort of stuff, and coming from, you know, sort of ground zero in terms of how to actually change your life from the ground up. Law of attraction is a very attractive, you know, cheat code
mm,
for this natural desire. You know, it's a natural desire for us to want to fulfill ourselves and bring a better quality of life to ourselves so that we can then go beyond ourselves and start thinking about how to include other people and other things into this sweetness that we're creating for ourselves. So desires are great because they're all about us. You know, if you have a desire, it's for yourself.
mm,
But when you open up your desires and have a bigger mind for your desires, and, it starts to become vision, and you start to become a visionary for your life, and that can start to include for others. And so when you look at these courses, right, they're like $1,000
Mm,
and up, you're just thinking like, well, they're really only interested in serving than people who already have an abundance of money.
mm.
So
That's their target
that's a
audience.
huge, yeah, they have a targeted audience. And um when you come across these sort of tiers of different, paying structures for this sort of material, you have to ask yourself, well, if I really want it, then I've got to pay this much.
Mm,
But there's, like you said, so many resources, even just on Inside Timer, that you can find for free. Sure, you have to really search for them sometimes. You've got to figure out how to best use their search engine, and find the right keywords and stuff, but you can find them,
oh
and they're
yeah.
free. And it helps build it helps you build your own foundation to be able to start making something up that works for you, that feels right, that looks right for you. And certainly didn't take $1,000 or more to get there, but you know to each their own. And some teachers want to just be able to cater to that sort of level,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fine. But I also like sort of working with that whole idea that money shouldn't be an issue for this sort of stuff. So there is a more flexible approach that I take to payment structures with clients and stuff like that, because I don't want that to be like, if someone is on the verge, they're on the cusp of something great, in their life, and they're onto something. For money to be an issue in that situation, it sucks,
Mm,
right? It just sucks that something like money would be an issue for someone for that. So, you know, it's nice to be able to be flexible, but
mm-hmm.
that's where I'm at right now. That's where, everyone's in their own place with that. And it's just so interesting, right? How money,
Mm,
you know, uh, gets combined with spiritual resources and stuff like that, because there's such a vast difference of what that means, for each individual, from money to enlightenment.
mm.
So there's a lot going on there.
Like one of Tony Robbins, what do they call their coaches? A few years ago, I booked a free Skype call, but he goes to me, "Oh, it'll cost you $4,000 for 45-minute Skype sessions." And he says to me, "Stephen, you don't need a coach. You need like a mentor or something." Because I guess what I was asking wasn't suitable for that sort of Tony Robbins coaching. Wasn't answering my
Mhm.
questions, Elliot. And it got very awkward. It was like, what? You know, they never pestered me, or they weren't using pushy sales tactics, but it pissed me off.
Hmm. You feel like you weren't really getting your questions answered.
Mm. And
Yeah.
because the name Tony Robbins, you know who Tony Robbins is. You know,
I've heard of him. Yeah.
because he's built up his brand, he can, they're overpricing this stuff, Elliot.
Mm. Yeah. And there's a lot of people who are willing to pay for that.
Mm,
What we're really interested in is something that transcends money,
mm,
transcends that sort of type of exchange. Because before any of that sort of gets involved, you've got an exchange going on, millions of exchanges going on within yourself every single day, chemical reactions, synapses connecting, neurological things going on, bodily functions, life energies happening, all these different things that it's already there for you to tap into.
mm,
And when we can tune out all the extra noise and find a nice place to sit and meditate and observe what's actually going on within us, there's already so much there to work with. And sometimes we just need a friend. Sometimes we just need a spiritual friend to be able to share with, to be able to open up
Mm,
those doors that have been closed, for years, and, you know, invite that sort of energy back in, because that's actually really natural to us, to be able to share our journey, to be able to
mm,
share our spirituality with a localized, tightly knit, community, which has mostly been lost in today's modern era, right? We don't usually have those sort of interactions or that sort of community available to us. So there's a lot of change going on, a lot of different ways that we would normally be able to express and share what's going on without having to pay all this money, without having to buy into a brand, without having to invest all these other resources. That stuff was already built into the fabric of our DNA. That was already built into the fabric of who we are and what we do as
mm,
human beings on this planet. But the way everything has changed over, the last few hundred years and beyond, it's changed the whole dynamic of community and of being supported along our journey, and also our spirituality.
mm,
So now, it's no surprise that as the economic, engine of society has become more and more dominant, and more people are, gravitating towards and building their lives around getting more money. You've got these people out there charging thousands of dollars for a session to remind people of what they're already, what they already are inside. Self-discovery, comes at a great price sometimes, but it also
mm.
comes in moments of silence with ourselves. So yeah, sometimes we need a spiritual friend, sometimes we need a mentor, and there's a lot of different ways to find it. But that's great that you found an alternative, one that allows you and gives you that empowerment, that choice to search for yourself and find what feels right for you,
Mm,
because you don't even know sometimes what's going to happen. If you pay for these sessions, am I going to connect with the material? Am I going to connect with the person delivering the material to me?
mm,
There's a lot of uncertainty about what that's going to be, and how it might help you. And when we pay a lot of money for something, or any money really, we have a certain expectation of what we're going to get out of it. And that's another beautiful thing about Insight Timer and other apps that are similar to that, because it's like a donation based model. Oh, you're able to access this recording. If you enjoyed it, you can give back, you can donate, you can leave feedback, so that the teacher can create their own, revenue. But it's not demanding it of you. And if you want the full features, then it's very straightforward what you have to do.
yeah, I pay a yearly subscription, Elliot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great. It keeps us in a certain mindset too, of saying another year of this amazing, you know, stuff.
Mm,
You're kind of setting yourself up for a whole year of doing that, rather than, making a shorter commitment. It's nice to make a true 100% dedication to something, and then see it through, see where it
mm,
actually leads you.
yeah, yeah, it'll lead me in a very positive future. It will.
Lots of things there to draw upon, to discover what we're actually wanting to do with our lives and how to do it. So yeah.
Right now, my goal with YouTube is to, earn a living, have the YouTube Creator Award.
Mhm.
That's my vision. Um, and the podcast as well. Have more podcast sponsors sponsoring my show and giving value to people, and yeah, helping people and keeping them entertained with my show as well, and connecting with people on Insight Timer like you, Jason Stevenson. Yeah, it's been an amazing journey for me this 2021, and I'm looking forward to more more bright things happening in the future.
Yes, it's all possible. It's all there waiting to happen. We have to make it work. We have to put action into it. So that's
Exactly.
great that you've started that, and it's already leading you down a prosperous road. I can see
Well,
you got very happy and energetic when you started talking about this. So it's clear that
mhm.
this passion is bringing some goodness into your world. It's great.
I'll show you my plaque that I won. I won first place in a music writing competition
Mm.
for 2020. But they sent me the plaque in the mail. But I said, could you send me the $10,000 because I wanted the money so I could upgrade the equipment. So I was like, bugger. Maybe it wasn't my time yet.
Oh, was there a cash award for that thing?
Yeah, only for the overall winners.
Oh, okay.
Well, I've got something now on my wall to put
Yeah, it
on.
looks like you're into songwriting. That's pretty cool.
Mm. But yeah, patience. But Elliot, was great episode with you today as well.
Yes, thank you for having me, Stephen.
I just want to say thanks for coming on. Where can people find you on Insight Timer and your social media?
Yeah, if you just type in my name, Elliot Treves, ELLIOTTTREVES, you can find me on Inside Timer and on social media at Elliot.Treves. You can find me there. And I've got a lot of different resources available for people on Insight Timer, as well as social media, creating different sort of content to supplement the work that I'm doing. I can also be found for doing one-on-one work in workshops
Mm-hmm.
and sound healing, as well as yoga. So there's going to be a lot of different things coming out in 2021 and beyond. But very excited to start introducing more of the sound healing work because I feel part of me is really just made for sound. I've been a musician for most of my life. I've been a sound producer,
Mm,
engineer for many years now. And it's nice to be able to just cut through all of the stuff, all of the practices, all of the words, and just get straight to vibration, straight to sound. And the way that sound is able to heal us, vibrations, attuning us to a greater intelligence and back to ourselves and our most healthy, vibrant self. Very powerful.
exactly.
So definitely interested and looking forward to sharing that with the community.